Hi everybody, my name is Jo with Jo Wise Leadership, and we're going live today talking about harnessing your superpowers. I'm just going to share with my other pages while Facebook collects an audience, and we'll get kicked off in a couple of moments. Hi. All right. It's a beautiful day in Melbourne today. Again, we're really lucking out with the weather. All right, I'm just waiting for it to go live. We've got people coming on quickly this morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm just sharing with my other page and we'll get kicked off. I've got a few things happening. Okay. Just sharing with my other page. Yay, Nadine, nice to see you. Hi, Tina, lovely to see you both. Okay, so I've got my new setup and I didn't realize that I'd have to go out of the picture to share with my other page, but we'll get set up even better tomorrow. So, hi, nice to see you both. Wonderful to have you on, Nadine. Nice to see you again, Tina. Today we're going to have a talk about harnessing your superpowers. As you know, today is, or this week is International Women's Day. The official day of celebration is tomorrow, but we're celebrating all week here at Facebook Live on Jo Wise Leadership. And the reason for that is because it's pretty special. And what I did yesterday is I talked about the theme for Facebook Live today is going to be harnessing your strength, but the theme for International Women's Day this year is being bold for change. So I'm just going through a couple of things or something every single day, a step every single day that will support you in your quest to be bold for change. Yesterday we talked about getting clear on what it is that you wanted to make, what change you wanted to make. So check that out if you didn't see it yesterday. And today we're talking about harnessing your superpowers and harnessing your strengths. Because what I find really interesting, and I still do this myself as well, is when I get a plan together, when I get like that inspiration, that creativity that comes and hits me and goes, all right, this is where we're going to go next. And I go through the process of, where I'm going to focus on this. Is it in line with my vision? And all of those types of things. Then the next step, it's so easy to make the next step action and just getting straight into the action. However, when we move straight into action, we're actually missing out on a couple of our qualities that can really support the journey. Hi Fatin, nice to see you today. So what I'm going to encourage you to do and have a think about this is get really clear on what your superpowers are, what your strengths are, yeah? Because when we just start taking the action, that's awesome. Action is really, really important. Yet when we step back for a minute and align ourselves with what characteristics, what internal qualities, what superpowers we've got that will support us in the action moving forward, then it's like everything gets turned up. It's like the intensity, the color, the power all gets turned up even more. So yesterday we talked about getting clear on what you want to do, what's the change you want to be creating. Today is not yet about action, but it's about supporting the action that you will take next. So it's about getting clear on who it is you need to be to support yourself in this journey. Now, one of the things that I find really beneficial in working out what your superpowers are, what your strengths are, is by having a look at the feedback that your community is giving around you. Now, I'm actually just making sure that people can see my shirt because I did a Facebook Live a while ago and my shirt was down, my strapless shirt was down a little bit and it kind of attracted the wrong type of attention that I wasn't looking for. So I'm just making sure that my shirt is up enough so that you can see that I am fully clothed today. Hi Leonie, nice to see you. So who it is that you, thanks Nadine, I'm glad you can see that I'm dressed. Who it is that you're wanting to be. Because as I said, we are consistently getting feedback around us. Thank you for the thumbs up and the love. We're consistently getting feedback about what our strengths are, what our superpowers are, but it's really, really easy sometimes for us to sort of just sideline those and see them as not important. Good morning, Leonie. Lovely to see you here today. Many years ago, and I've shared this story before, but many years ago, I remember somebody saying to me, wow, you're really good at sort of standing in front of, a meeting and conducting meetings. And, I get really nervous, but you seem to do it really naturally. And I did some lunch and learns at work, and people were like, wow, you're really good at this thing where you're training and you're sharing this type of stuff with people. And it's really interesting because for quite a while, I was like, yeah, no, it's not a big strength of mine. It's just something that I do, which is kind of what a strength is. So sometimes just stepping back for a little while and asking yourself, what am I really good at? But not only what am I good at, and what do I really enjoy doing? And what are the characteristics, the internal characteristics in me that are going to support that? So when I started to look around I was looking at a career change many years ago, and I started to think about, okay, well, what are my strengths? What are the sort of internal things that I've got that I can bring to the table? And one of those things was the fact that I am really good at presenting, at standing in front of a group of people, at helping people learn. That's something that I'm naturally good at. I've got the confidence to do that. I've got the competence to be able to do that, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And that's not something that everybody is really natural at and really finds that they love and gives them energy and moves them forward. So for me, that was one of the things that was like, actually, people have been telling me for years that this is like a superpower of mine. Now I'm recognizing it. And then when I recognized that, I was actually able to focus my career in that direction, and it has led me to where I am today, because training is one of the massive things that I do. But it's all of those internal characteristics and those strengths that I have inside of me that led me to that place. So have a look when you're thinking about, well, what are my strengths? What are the things that I, when I bring to the party that turn everything up, that turn the intensity up, turn the energy up, turn the enjoyment up for you? What are those things? Because when we bring those internal qualities, those characteristics, those superpowers and pair that with our action, the results are tenfold every single time. So have a think about it. What are your strengths? What are the internal qualities that when you bring awareness to them is going to support your journey? I've had a think about a couple of people that have really used their internal qualities, and that has led them to really great career outcomes. And I thought about Brené Brown. Brené Brown is a researcher, and she researches on the subjects of pain, shame and vulnerability. So not really areas that people normally enjoy talking about, like shame and vulnerability. Now, she chose to work in the area of research because there was no emotion involved. It was all, these are the statistics, this is exactly what it is, I can see this on the board, this is what it is, this is what I do my research on. No emotions involved. And she felt that was her area. But when she looked into a little bit further, she realized that by bringing out some of her own strengths, which was the strength of vulnerability, which something was quite challenging for her, that's when she was able to write all of her books and her career really took off. So it was something, as a part of the process of recognizing that vulnerability is a massive strength of hers, and then obviously being able to communicate and to write books that support her message, really saw her career skyrocket forward. Somebody else that has done this is Arianna Huffington. Arianna Huffington, who runs a Huffington Post, that goes out to millions of people every single day. It's an online publication. And many years ago, she had a meltdown, a breakdown because of, stress. And she decided to really realign herself and work out what in the hell was success to her. Because success to her, she recognized, was quite different to what she was seeing out there in the environment. She realized that success to her was not just about money. It was about quality of life. It was about, enjoyment. It was about getting a good night's sleep. It was about, tuning into intuition. There's all of these types of things that she talks about in her book called Thrive. And it was when that she recognized that she was utilizing some of her strengths, but in a way that was bringing her down. When she was able to harness those internal qualities and move forward, Huffington Post has always been successful, but it's more successful in many different ways. I think she calls it the new metrics of success. So there's the new ways of success, not just money and productivity, because we know that success is not just about money and productivity. For me particularly, that's been a part of my last couple of years, is working out. That's right, success, and I need to keep reminding myself, even still these times, that success is not just about money. And it's not just about how much work I'm getting out there. It's about if I'm enjoying it on the way. It's about, so many different things for me as well. And the third person I wanted to mention that's really harnessed their strengths in the past to get, to create a massive movement in this case was Wangari Maathai. Now, Wangari Maathai is a Kenyan woman that I started reading about many, many years ago, because I've been to Kenya and to Africa quite a few times, so it sparked an interest in me. And when I started to read about her, she's got this fascinating story of how, she was a mum and she had a career for many years, but she really saw how, particularly in where she was in Kenya at the time, women couldn't own property, women couldn't, I don't think they could even have a job. I think their pay I think she was working as a teacher and the pay had to go into her husband's account or something. But there were all of these things that, were not really fair. She ended up divorcing her husband and she had to start again. She had no rights. So she pushed for that. And then during that time of pushing for that, she realized that supporting the women in the community is really, really important. And that led to her recognizing that of her mission, which was planting 1 million trees in Kenya, and they've done that right throughout the world. And they use the women in the community, or they work with and collaborate with the women in the community to allow them to plant these trees, which allows for a sustainable future for Kenya and so on. Now, she harnessed her strengths of collaboration, of passion, that really, really ignited her passion to get equal rights for women in Africa or in Kenya, and particularly, and also the support of planting the trees for that sustainable movement as well. So there's a couple of examples of where women have utilized their internal strengths, and it has supported their journey even more. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I wanted you to recognize that action's very important. Getting clear on what you want is super important, like we talked about yesterday. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And what we quite often do is when we work out what we want, then we just dive into action. But when we take a step back, we start to think about, what are my strengths? What are the internal characteristics? What are the internal qualities that I'm able to bring to this vision, to this plan of what I want to create? It might be confidence, it might be collaboration, it might be networking, it might be communicating, it might be, quiet time for you to allow yourself to create great messages. It's, creativity. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So get really clear on who you're going to be and what your internal qualities are that are going to support you moving forward. Check out the community, around you for the feedback that it's been giving you, because it has been giving you feedback about what your strengths are. I'm absolutely positive. And then start getting into action once you've aligned with your qualities. Get into action and start moving forward. And again, as I mentioned, we're supporting International Women's Day, which is tomorrow, this week, and their theme this year is being bold for change. So what are the internal characteristics? What are the internal qualities that are going to help you be bold for change? I've got clear on what mine are this week. And it was interesting because last night working on a new project at the moment within my business, and this is one of the things I did yesterday was, okay, I had a bit of a fluff around time and a bit of a bit stuck time, and then I thought, no, hang on, let's get clear on what I want. I had a chat to a friend, got clear on what I wanted to create, sat down, got clear on the qualities that I'm going to bring along on this, which is putting myself out there, being visual, being vulnerable, being open. All of these things are things that I consistently come back with that support my message. So let me know what yours are. I'd love to hear. Have a fabulous day. Enjoy your week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. See you later.